Welcome to part 8 of the tutorial. In this part it will be how to write the XML, which is all the track settings and all the various bits and pieces like that. So what you want to do is open Notepad, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide a test XML, so it makes this process a lot easier than what it might look, because this is the whole XML code for Millennium Force actually. I've just copied it and called it Griffin just to save sake. But as you can see, there is a lot of data, but it looks a lot more complicated than what it is. So first you want to see how many track sections you have. So this goes up to 27. This goes up to 34. So what we can do is delete up to part 27 in all the sections. So that makes it now a lot easier to work with. This section of code, leave it as is. The only thing that needs to be changed will be changed as you work with it. And also station 1, always leave that the same as well, don't change it. So looking at line 5, you see import file equals mil.modxml. And the reason it's called mil is because that's the name I gave Millennium Force as the XML. We have called for Griffin Griffin.modxml. So you change that to whatever name you've given your XML. The next section is you've got track CTR underscore Millennium Force CT. So in the version that will be given, that will be underscore test track dot CT. Not dot, just test track CT. So what you want to do is copy the whole section of it, the whole track CTR underscore, and go to edit, replace, move it so you can see, copy in both what you want to change, and just change it to whatever track you want it to be. So for this one it will be Griffin, and then you want to press replace all. As you can see, it is now changed up there, and all of those track pieces have now also changed. This is why it makes it a lot easier to work with using this replace tool. Otherwise you have to write out the whole XML code by hand. It just takes far too long. So first is the station, that can be left the same. Next bit is to straight. So you copy, on yours it will be to track, because that's how I'll do it. I'll do 2 track, 3 track, 4 track. I'll do it like that. So for me it's to lift bottom, and you change that to straight and replace all. Now capitals count. If you haven't named capital in the XMLs from the importer, then you don't put capitals in here. So 3 lift becomes 3 turn, 4 lift top becomes 4 break. So while we've got here, well, we've got 4 break at the moment, need to change some flags. 2 straight is just track, so that requires no flags. And then 3 turn, that's also track. That also requires no flags. I'm also changing the exit and entry slopes. These are if you want the icon to go up, down, steep up, steep down, things like that. There's a document included with the download that will explain all the different numbers. So 1 is a shallow up, 2 is a shallow down, which is why I've decided to go shallow down for the first track section. And the second section can become both 2. Break is not done with flags. I've got 2, and then I will go 1. For break, to do a standard break, you do special equals speech marks 1. If you want a block break, you do special equals 2. There are plenty of different specials to use. They are all again shown in the document that has been included in the download. Okay, so we're up to 5 drop, which for me is actually 5 lift. Now, to do a lift, you do need a flag, which is flags equals 2 for lift hill, and it needs to be on both entry and exit for it to work. Just change the flag so they look a bit better. Oops, I didn't mean that flag. 1. Slope even 0. And then 6 drop for me is 6 turn. And it, depending on how it handles, you might want to put a lift hill for transport sections, or you could use block break. I mean, the real ride does use chain, doesn't it? Like all B&M dive machines. So I think I will actually put flags 2 for that also. And now we're up to 7 drop bottom. For me is 7 hold. Now, to do a hold piece, is quite complicated because you have to add a few numbers together. I'll just need to double check one of my files. which one was it that I did it with? Oh yes, blue fire. Yes. Right, so to do a hold and a launch piece, it's 258. The 258 comes from 256 is the actual launch piece, the hold piece, sorry, and 2 is because it has a flag for chain lift. But because I only want it as a hold because of it being a drop, technically the train should just let go and it should carry on. I just do 256. So entry flags equals 256. Entry slope 2. Always make sure the exit of 1 is the same as the entry of the next piece, or the entry of 1 is the exit of the previous piece, whichever way round you want to do it. They always have to follow on, otherwise they won't connect together. So exit can be 4. Actually, why not 5? 5's vertical, if you're interested. I think. Is 5 vertical? This is the document I'm loading that will be included in the download. The first few pages don't really help much, but this is where it does. Oh yes, 5 is vertical. Yes, I thought it was. Yes, slope is 5 for vertical. So 8 over bank up for me becomes 8 drop. Entry slope 5. Exit slope 5. 9 over bank becomes 9 bottom. Entry slope 5. Exit slope 0. Entry slope 0. So 10. Becomes half loop. Eleven turn becomes 11 dive. 12 turn becomes 12 rise. 13 hill up becomes 13 break. So now we're on to the breaks again. Because it is the mid-course, I'm going to make it a block break, which is special equals 2. 14 hilltop becomes 14 drop. 15 hill down becomes 15 half loop. Sixteen hill bottom becomes 16 dive. You don't have to put entry and exit slopes on every track piece. If your track has a wide variety of angles for each track piece, it doesn't matter. The only reason there were slopes on other track pieces is due to them all being the same direction. It allows for better connectivity. But for the most part, if you can get away with it, just leave it as 0. Makes it a lot easier to work with. So 17 turn becomes 17 hill. $18 overbank up becomes 18 splash. And again, the train is going to technically slow down on part 18, so I'm going to put a 1 normal brake there. 19 overbank down equals 19 turn. $20 turn becomes 20 hill. $21 through 27 are all brakes. But problem is they aren't all brakes. Some are brakes, some are block brakes. So the best way to know which one's which is load up your Blender file again while you're writing the XML code. Then you can look at which track sections are which. So that's part 20. So 21 is going to be a brake, but just a standard brake. So rather than keep it going up and down because there's so many changes, I'm going to do them first. So special equals 1, and then 22 is just going to be a track piece. And I notice I've got two 21s. So I'm going to delete that second 21 while I notice it. So 21 brake is a brake, 22 brake is track, 23 can be a block brake, which is that piece. Then the next, which 24 is just track. 25 is a block, 26 is track, and 27 is going to be a block. So now I'll just go and change (27) turn, 26 turn, right? 27 turn is 27 break, 26. Oops. If you spell a mistake on find what word, it doesn't actually do anything. So 27 turn becomes 27 break, 26 turn becomes 26 break, 27, 26, 25 hill down becomes 25, and 24 hill up becomes 24 break, 22 break, 23 turn becomes 23 break, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. So that is now the entirety of the XML code written. Whether it works first time or not, it's pretty much a guarantee that it won't. It generally never does. So you want to save, so file, save as. Make sure you do not have .text, but you do .xml. Save, and because I've already got it as XML, it's fine. Then you can close that and just put it with your other XMLs. Now you want to use the OVL make. I'm going to use my location of OVL make. It just makes things easier. You copy all the XMLs, mod XML, and the written XML into the folder that contains OVL make. Go to run cmd, brings up the command line. Once command line is running, you want to drag first the ovlmake.exe. Make sure you click afterwards so you can put a space. Then drag the Griffin C, well, the written XML. Click again and press enter. This will now start the process of converting the XML files and mod XML into OVL files. Can take quite a while, but it's quite useful to wait and watch because you'll be able to see if it comes up with any errors. That batch of errors are normal due to just the way things are. Okay, so we've got no warning, level of detail missing on station piece. I'll just fast forward through the next section. It's just recreating the XML like before, where you clear the splines, load the spline, load the textures, close all the meshes off, put the textures onto each rail, spine and ties, SI opaque, and then just save it over the existing one and then replace it in the folder where the OVL make is. Once you've copied it over, make sure you delete the output folder that was already created. Then go into command line and press up. That will re-put the code in that you just previously entered, as in the OVL make and the XML for the CT. While that's doing that, I'll show you how to make a bandatin. For those that have already made CTs out of existing track pieces, you'll already know how to make a bandatin. For those that don't, I will just show you how to do it. I'll use one that I've already created. It's easier than writing a new one. Again, I will include a test piece so it's easier to edit. So you load it up. First thing is you change the name of the CT that you want it to show up in game. So for this it's obviously CTR Griffin. Description, change it to whatever you want it to be. So Griffin at Busch Gardens for this. Card name, you can basically go into the directory of RCT, go to cars, tracked ride cars. All the CT cars will be in this folder, also some in-game ones, but not all of them. You can use any CT track car you want. It's literally a case of finding the one you want. So for example, this one I'm putting Shikra. So you just copy that text and put it into the bandatin. If you want any others, you just put a comma and space. If you want to use an already in-game car, you go to Coaster Cars, and for example the diver coaster is actually called Oblivion, so you can type that in after the CTR. Then the next section is changing the track name, so for this it's track CTR Griffin. Then you need to input all the track section names. There's no fast way of doing it, you literally just have to type them all in as they appear on the XMLs. So all the way from one station, because that's always the same, down to 27 break. Once all the track names are placed, leave station type. I always use frequent faller because generally that means there will be no station showing up in game. The rest of the settings you don't need to worry about because I will provide a test piece so you can edit it. Just ignore those. So you'll want to file, save as, and just call it the name of the CT, so Griffin CT. Leave bandatin and underscore. Once saved, you want to load the CTR creator. go to read Bandatten, choose the file, and then write OVL, and then you'll have a file. You can cut that, go to the output of the OVL make folder, tracks, tracked rides, and then paste the Bandatten output folder in there, cut both of those files, and then load them into your RCT tracks, tracked rides folder. And that is the creation of a CT from start to finish. I will now go ahead and load RCT, and we shall see if it worked or not. Okay, so we're in RCT now. We will see if the CT has worked. Well, it's showing up in lists, so that's good. And you can see a station piece, so I'll just raise that up. And 2, 3, 4, 5. Slight issue here. Could fix it, but I mean, you don't need to. But 6 holds there. 8. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Slow down for the splash. 19, 20, 21. 22, 23. 27. Okay, so the last few pieces just need some slight fixing. Also, you can see that the spine has become smooth, so that gets edited back in Blender. For the most part, it is all there. Just a few slight issues with the written XML. So part 9 will be rectifying all the issues and hopefully showing a fully working CT.